Have at it.
Welcome everyone to the June 10th, 2020 meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo,
Present.
Mr. Guidarelli,
Present.
Mrs. Miller Herrera is absent, Mr. Signor, Mr. Tomazone,
Present.
4 present, 1 absent.
So, Mr. Signor, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes.
Pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the
flag
of the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
One nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. So, just briefly before we get into the public hearings, I just want to say a few things. For those of you that maybe you drove by it, I hope you did, because the house is no longer there. So 749 Kramer Avenue, for many years that property was boarded up just off of Denver Ave, and the house is gone. What remains is the basement, and then the garage in the back. The Habitat for Humanity, with the help of the land bank, is going to be redeveloping that property. So we're very fortunate there. And what I just want to say publicly to the board and to anyone is that when they start getting that project rolling and the Habitat is ready to step up to start that project, I'd really love to see more community involvement. We had some decent community involvement with the property that was redeveloped on Oakland Avenue about 2 years ago. And that property looks outstanding. So I'm really happy that this finally happened. Also, just, this coming weekend is Flag Day. Sunday is Flag Day. The Elks are going to be conducting a ceremony here at the Town Hall in our Veterans Memorial area here. So that's at 2 o'clock. We will be socially distancing. I will have additional masks for anyone who forgets them at home. It's not, and ask folks to wear them while they're here. Next weekend, obviously, is Father's Day. We won't have another meeting until after that. So happy Father's Day to everyone, and to the high school graduates out there. It's a strange year for all of us, and I just, on behalf of the town and the town board and everyone, I wanted to just wish you all good luck in your pursuits, and let us know on the town level if there's something that we can do to assist you in any way. If there's a way to help, we will. And I'd like to just, let's just roll into the public hearing. So let's go to public hearing 1, Ms. Marco.
To allow for a proposed 2-lot subdivision by Gary DeCoco on a plus or minus 24,834 square foot parcel located in the Aquifer Overlay District on tax map number 20.5-7-46.1, 5 Lock Street, Rotterdam Junction, New York, 12150. Applicant is requesting a 2-lot subdivision. Lot 1 equals plus or minus 12,342 square feet with proposed single-family residence, and Lot 2 equals plus or minus 12,492 square feet with proposed single-family residence.
Okay, do we have anyone on public hearing 1 this evening? Just so we'll go through the and just if there is someone who does, I think you can raise your hand or react to some way. Anyone want to be heard on public hearing 1 this evening?
Steve, does anyone know what 325 is?
It doesn't really matter what the numbers are. If I think they're all unmuted. Is everyone's unmuted, I believe. If anyone would like to be heard on public hearing 1 this evening.
Dana, this is Jack. I have no comment.
Anyone like to be heard on public hearing 1 this evening? Anyone like to be heard on public hearing 1 this evening? Okay, we'll declare public hearing one closed at this time. Mr. Signor, if you don't mind, could you mute your microphone? When Ms. Marco- yeah, when Ms.
Or turn
Marco is
off,
speaking.
I've turned my volume down, but I can mute the
Yeah,
microphone.
mute your mic when she's speaking, if you don't mind. I think we're getting
I will do
feedback
that. Let me just,
from your mic. Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Okay, Ms. Marco, public hearing 2.
To amend Chapter 130, Fire and Fire Prevention, to repeal sections of the Code of the Town of Rotterdam rendered obsolete by the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code of the State of New York.
Okay, and is there anyone that would like to be heard on public hearing 2 this evening? We have everyone unmuted. Anyone who would like to be heard on public hearing 2 this evening? Anyone who would like to be heard on public hearing 2 this evening? Okay, we'll declare public hearing 2 closed at this time. And at this point in our meeting, we have public comment privilege of the floor for anyone who would like to speak. You have 4 minutes to speak. What I'll do is if we hit the 3-minute mark, I will raise my hand to show that the 3-minute mark has elapsed, and then ask you to try to wrap up your comments. I'll put my hand up again at 4 minutes and give you a little bit more time to close your comments. So does anyone want to be heard this evening under public comment privilege of the floor? Ms. Duncan or Ms. Oster, would you please unmute everyone for a moment, if you can? Anyone want to be heard on public comment privilege of the floor this evening? Anyone like to be heard under public comment privilege of the floor? Okay, we'll dispense with the public comment at this point in time. And now we'll enter our first piece of business here this evening is the order number 2-20 of 2020. Ms. Marco, would you please read that? It's rather lengthy, so I apologize for it, but go ahead, Ms. Marco.
The Town Board of the Town of Rotterdam hereby orders the adoption of these above stated findings as contained in the map, plan, and report annexed hereto, and acknowledges all applicable provisions of the New York State Law, Town Law, Article 12A, and the law and rules of the State of New York. The Town Clerk of the Town of Rotterdam is hereby directed to post on the signboard of the town maintained pursuant to Subdivision 6 of Section 30 of the Town Law of the State of New York, and publish in the official newspaper of the Town of Rotterdam no later than June 12th, a full copy of this order and the notice of public hearing provided for by the following public notice. Town of Rotterdam, notice of hearing. Call for a public hearing to be held on Wednesday, June 24th, 2020 at 7 p.m. The public hearing is open to the public and persons may attend telephonically. Members of the public may listen to and or speak at the public hearing by dialing 1-929-205-6099, then entering the conference's ID number 867-0373-0307, followed by the pound symbol. The public hearing will be held electronically via a video conference for the town board and a conference call for all members of the public for the following purpose. Establishment of extension number 3 of Sewer District 7, Curry Road, East and West District. The proposed extension number 3 of Sewer District 7, Curry Road, East and West consists of all properties along Curry Road, east of the Hamburg Street, Curry Road, Carmen Road traffic circle to the I-90 off-ramp and west of the same traffic circle to 400 Road. The boundaries of the proposed district extension are detailed and described in the map and Appendix A of the April 15th, 2020 map, plan, and report Curry Road, East and West, Sanitary Sewer District 7, extension number 3. The proposed improvement shall collect wastewater from the proposed extension number 3 of Sewer District 7, Curry Road, East and West, with the eastern portion, Curry Road East, extension number 3A, to begin just west of the 890 off-ramp and flow by gravity to the pump station of extension 2 at the property currently occupied by the Super 8 Hotel. From here, the sanitary flows of extensions 1 and 2 in Curry Road East will be pumped to the Hamburg Street Sewer District gravity main. The western portion, Curry Road West, extension number 3B, will flow through the proposed sewer from the 400 Road and just west of the Route 7 and Route 146 traffic circle to a common manhole and then to a pump station to be located on a proposed easement area on the apartment complex owned by Rotterdam Partners LP. From this pump station, wastewater will be conveyed via force main across an existing easement held by the town over the property owned by the St. Gabriel Archangel Roman Catholic Church to the existing Hamburg Street gravity main. The sanitary flow will then join the Hamburg Street sewer system and ultimately flow to the city of Schenectady. The maximum proposed cost for this project is $3,719,000. The cost is the total of the two portions of Extension 3 East, Extension number 3A, and West, Extension number 3B. The anticipated cost for the Curry Road East, Extension number 3A portion is $1,047,000, and anticipated cost for the Curry Road Extension is number 3B portion is $2,672,000. The town plans to bond the proposed project for 30 years at an estimated 3.5% interest rate. All districts annually are being charged operation and maintenance cost of $42, treatment cost of $248. The total annual debt service responsibility per EDU of the Curry Road East Extension number 3A Sewer District Extension is therefore the sum of the Curry Road East Extension number 3A component of debt retirement, the prorated share of debt retirement of the shared infrastructure with Carmen Road Extension number 2, as well as the prorated share of debt retirement associated with the Hamburg Street Sewer District 7, or a total of 1,434 EDU to the typical property. Needed a break. The total amount debt service responsibility per EDU of the Curry Road West Extension number 3B Sewer District Extension is therefore the sum of the Curry Road West Extension number 3B component of debt retirement, as well as the prorated share of debt retirement associated with the Hamburg Street Sewer District 7, or a total of 1,225 EDU to the typical property. There currently is one-time $35 sewer lateral inspection fee. The connection fees to connect to Sewer 7, as well as any current or future extension, have been waived for 5 years, but once expired, the connect fee shall be $500 sewer connection fee per dwelling unit and $1,000 connection fee for commercial usage for properties within the established sewer district that connect to the collection system. Connection to the proposed district extension shall require the installation of a lateral by the property owner. The approval of the state comptroller is required for the establishment of the proposed sewer district extension, and the town resolution establishing the proposed district is subject to permissive referendum as provided by the New York State Town Law. The public presentation of the map, plan, and report in accordance with New York State Town Law related to the creation of the proposed extension number 3 of Sewer District 7, Curry Road, East and West District will occur again at this time. The map, plan, and report was filed with the town clerk on May 13th, 2020, and continues to be available for public inspection in the office of the Rotterdam Town Clerk by appointment. Due to the restrictions put in place pursuant to the executive law of the state of New York and in the public interest, it shall also be available on www.rotterdamny.org.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, a lot of information there. And again, as Ms. Marco said, the entire document is available on our website, or will be available on our website. Hopefully you've loaded up.
Mr. Supervisor, I make a motion.
Can you hang on 1 second? We have to let me just make sure one thing. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Christou.
Make a motion to approve for the public hearing.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Christou on order number 2-20 and a second by Mr. Signor. Okay, anyone on the question?
I have a question, Mr. Supervisor.
Go ahead.
So What other notifications go out to the residents in addition to the official public notice in the newspaper?
Kate, do you mind taking that? Because I know that we're going through also with easements notification
Well, that's in a separate district extension, so that would be separate and distinct from this. But I had a conversation this afternoon with Joe Lanero, who is your TDE for this project. And in terms of the notification, it only requires 1 day to be published in the newspaper, not less than 10 days prior to the hearing, not more than 20. But in discussing it together, just because, you know, typically it is available on the website. It has been available on the website prior to May 13th, but that was a clear marker for the public to view the map plan and report because Joe gave such a nice presentation and introduction about it on that date. And so we decided to publish it in the newspaper for 3 consecutive days, even though that's not legally required, to really give the public an opportunity to review not just the notice, which I made obviously fairly substantial in excess of what is required by the statute, but also to give people an opportunity to continue to view the notice and then to make an appointment with Diane if they're do not have access to the internet. But obviously, you know, it is available in Diane's office if someone so chooses to make an appointment. In theory, the governor's most recent executive order extending 202.4 may be lifted at the earliest on June 17th. And so that would then afford an opportunity to, you know, potentially ease some of the restrictions in terms of public employees, non-essential in nature, being able to return to work. So, so the notice was, you know, discussed at length, and I think that this is a good way to continue to notify people who are affected on Curry Road of their ability to speak at the hearing. And of course, for those people who do not want to dial in, obviously, if they were to send comments to the town clerk, those would subsequently also be made a part of the record. That's why Diana always does such a nice job of asking people if they want to submit their materials to her if they read them from the podium, because then they become part of the minutes as well.
So as far as a direct mail to each property owner, that does not happen?
That has never been the law in the state of New York.
Well,
Yeah.
right, but even regardless whether it's a law or not, we don't do that. I mean, you have your people that don't get the newspaper, that don't go on the website and aren't aware of a lot of things going on, especially with the whole COVID thing going on now. So, and I thought at one point,
Certainly, if you wanted to change the statute, you could, you know, speak to Senator Amador or Assemblyman Santa Barbara. But that is what the requirements are in terms of the establishment of the district.
Right, but it still doesn't stop the town if we wanted to go further with notifications to do that.
It doesn't. I guess then just the question becomes, in terms of notification, how would you uniformly do that? You know, you obviously would have to treat people equally and treat people the same. That's always a best practice, to not give special preference to anyone. And so if you were to do that, I suppose that you could codify it using municipal home rule in terms of a local law that requires further additional notification when you establish a special district under 12A of the town law. That would be a possibility. But you certainly wouldn't want to give notice to some people that you certainly didn't afford to others without some sort of clear statutory scheme in which to.
Right. Yeah, I thought on one of these we did send notifications on maybe it wasn't. Yeah, you know what? I thought it was for this, for an extension.
I think
For a
you've
sewer
raised this
district.
issue previously in the past. Yes, you have.
We have done that, right?
No, you've requested additional notification in the past.
No, but I could have sworn we did
With
send.
sewer 7 extension too.
Yeah, okay. I just think we do these notifications and the publication, well, we do the publication, I just think if a lot of people are just going to miss them and have no clue until it happens. And we've that's been proven by previous districts and extensions we've done.
And so one of the things I'll just say to that is that when I've had conversations with residents out there, I don't disagree with you, Joe. At the same time, I can tell you that when notifications gone out for other things, people see it's from the town, and I don't know that they read it. So I think that when we talk about ensuring that we are acting equally to everyone, it's something that I think we should have a further discussion about how to notify from what you're saying. It's just difficult. When we had the Hamburg Street sewer district, when we went back out to renotice it and do everything on that sewer district, there were several residents that I spoke to, a couple of business owners who said, I got this mail and set it aside, and they didn't read it. And those were the calls that I got. I've got to be honest with you. Those were calls. So, so don't misinterpret me. I think that more is better. And when it comes to letting the public know what it is that's going on, particularly when it's going to cost them money. So, we should take this in another way, and let's talk about it and figure out a way to ensure that when we are, what is it that we're doing? When I say we, what the town is doing,
Yeah.
What do we notify on, and kind of go through a checklist and say, do we want to notify on this, and codify something as Kate is recommending.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So.
Well, I would just also note that you have other areas of your code that make it seem like you're affording people additional notice, but in reality, your code oftentimes, for some reason, parrots what the state law is. And so people think, oh, under the zoning code, you're required to give me notice with regards to 300 feet. Well, actually, that's the state law that someone in their, I guess, zeal at some point just decided to adopt into the code in addition to that. And so oftentimes, I think when you do see notice provisions in your code, especially your zoning code, or your Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code enforcement under Chapter 154, or Chapter 4 that allows for the enforcement provisions of the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, you truly are just enforcing notice requirements that are already previously articulated by the state of New York.
So anyone else on the question this evening for order number 2-20? Okay, motion by Mr. Christou, a second by Mr. Signor. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gittarelli?
Yes, for the public hearing, right?
Mrs. Miller Herrera is absent. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasone?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 absent. Steve, before I go to the next one, can I just ask Kate on this order too, if I understand it correctly, because I don't have the long form, it's just going to be published one day and I can publish it Friday, correct?
No, the long form specifically states that you will publish Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much.
Go up on the signboard. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, if you look at it, because
I just don't have the long form, but that's good, as long as I know.
Sorry.
Perfect.
I think if you look on, let me just double check, because I thought it was in here.
I just tried loading the agenda and it's still not there.
Ms. Marco, if you look at page 5, 6, 7, and 8, you look at page 8, what I handed out to you. So it's okay. Yeah, look at page 8. It gives you the dates for publication right on there, just so you.
Oh, yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean, we just
No problem.
got this.
It is out of the ordinary, Diane.
That's okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Out of the ordinary times.
Okay, so now we have resolution number 169.20.
The town board of the town of Rotterdam hereby authorizes the supervisor to negotiate and execute an agreement, the Armstrong Appraisals LLC, P.O. Box 5016, Clifton Park, New York, 12065, for appraisals associated with sewer 7 extension number 2.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question?
So wait, where's the supporting document on this?
It was in the original, I thought, in the original.
Wasn't the draft, right? That's what I'm,
Yes, I also emailed it directly to the 5 of you this evening.
so that is the one you did send, Kate, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
So that is the single page document?
Yes, with the articulated dollar amounts for the 17 parcels.
The 17 parcels. So this is for the appraisal. So what's the total on this?
I didn't add it up. It looks like it's in the 20s.
Mhm. Let's see.
And this fee gets added to the district project, correct?
This is already contained as a part of the estimate.
Of that number?
This afternoon, right? That appraisal
Okay.
is already contained in a part of the contingency. I think the concern here is that, you have a project time schedule in terms of bidding the project out. Obviously, if you're able to bid it for work in November and December, that's obviously a cost savings to the town. And then, I would just note that any cost savings that you're able to realize as a part of the bid and the construction of it gets directly passed on to the people who are contained within the district. That instead of it being the $845 that it's estimated, the lower that it comes in, under cost, that savings is passed on, to the people who are paying for the extension, the debt service on a continual basis. And so Joe and I discussed, essentially the concern is that in terms of the timeline, that we want to be sure that we stay within that timeline. And so by not waiting to get the appraisal, because this is now a busy season, as many of you are aware, ESD has denoted that real estate offices can reopen under phase 2 this week. And there's guidance contained on the Empire State Development website with respect to that. And so essentially real estate is now open for business. And so if you were to wait to obtain appraisals, until your next meeting on the 24th, you may be at a disadvantage because you may be, not really getting those until sometime potentially in the month of August or September. And if you're going to do a letting with bids coming back in August with a, award in September, obviously you wouldn't want to be in a position where you would be waiting then for, your appraisal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so if I could just say, along those lines, it's just under 30,000. Okay, so just so you,
Okay, thanks.
it's high 20s, so just under 30. I did a quick.
Where am I?
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Christou, a second by Mr. Signor. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo,
Yes.
Mr. Gittarelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera absent, Mr. Signor,
Yes.
Mr. Thomasone.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 absent.
Okay, 16920 passes. Resolution 17020.
Declare the town board as lead agency and authorize the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with NYCRR Part 617 and state environmental quality review related to the proposed wastewater treatment plant upgrades.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Signor. Anyone in the question?
What's the
Let's go. You want to go into that resolution?
dollar amount on this? I looked on the supporting documentation. I didn't see anything as far as the amount of this.
Give me a moment to get into it, Joe.
I saw the application. And I thought our last upgrade was bringing us up to speed or getting us current on capacity, maximum capacity out of that place.
Why can I not? It's not letting me open it. Dana, can you send that link to me again? It's freezing on me here.
Which link?
The link for the backup for 17020 or the agenda.
Okay.
It's 170, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the application. Yeah, I don't see anything on it. There's a new building involved. I
Well,
saw
we're
that on there.
We're looking to expand and we've got to ask for permission. So it's just, let me get in there so that I can, instead of just giving it to you from the top of my head, let me
The proposed,
exactly what it says.
including rehabilitation of the primary and secondary clarifiers, rehabilitation of the belt filter press, trickling filters, replacement of existing.
The short form doesn't have the additional information on it.
Right, the proposed improvements are in response to recent speedies, permits, violations, age-related deterioration of the existing equipment. In addition, the existing question plant is near, says we're near capacity. So like I said, I thought that last upgrade we did for 2 point some, whatever was supposed to bring us.
We have some, but we are looking to expand.
A lot of that upgrade, Joe, if I remember correctly, was just because of the negligence of previous administrations and no work done. I believe it was more to avoid a catastrophic disaster.
Let's put it this way: it was to ensure that the plant could operate and we wouldn't have any issues. But more importantly, we need to expand that footprint a bit,
Right.
and expand the plant because we intend to proceed with getting to Marival Road and Burdick Street in the coming year to 2 years to expand the district. And so in order to expand that district, we have work that we have to put together and publish and submit to the DEC.
Mr. Supervisor, if I remember correctly, it was either 2016 or 2017, we had discussed that this second phase, which we're talking about now, was going to come up.
Well, then we did, and honestly, this second, so if we want to call it second phase, basically this expansion's been talked about for at least 30 years.
Right.
And so, the language that gets contained within the documents that are, I'll say provided to the state and others has to do with the age of the plant. But at the same time, you're right, Joe. We've spent, we've invested over $2.5 million.
I thought it was 2.5 million, yeah.
And probably another, upwards of $1 million between, our pump stations, and we still have more to do. But that area, we have to expand. We have to expand what we, what's there and apply for it and give the reasoning behind it. And then we're going to apply for grants and other financing in order to get the project going. And we'll be creating a district, if you will, or extension in that, to Burdick Street and Rival Road would, I think, I'm just using nomenclature here or numbers. I'm not saying specifics, it would maybe be called district, extension 1 or 2 or whatever the extension number is, the next extension number, whatever that number is off the top of my head, I don't know. And so we would be out there and then eventually, hopefully getting underneath I-90 and getting over to 25A with a much bigger project. So there are projects, there are companies, we've discussed this the last couple of years that need the sewer line there right now that are in operation. And
Right, so these projects, these new projects can't hook unless we do this?
Pretty much. I mean, we don't want to put ourselves in a position that some of the existing businesses that are there, one of the things, and again, it's like going back in time and trying to assess why some decisions were made to say, so I'm just going to throw it out there, to say, well, we're only going to run the sewer line over here, and we're going to pick up this area of say, Western Rotterdam, but we're going to leave this area here on septic systems. And, we're moving in a different direction. We're saying that we want to get as much on, involved in that sewer and the sewer district as possible. It's not only to help us with, job creation and property development and all those things, but it also helps us to determine what types of businesses. So as we go through this comp plan update, what types of businesses or industries or residential options do we, want to see out here in this part of our community. And we can't do it without a sewer system, without a sewer line. Just continuing to put septic systems in long-term for larger scale projects is just not something that we support. And I think that the board's been consistent there, which I'm happy about, frankly. We have to continue to expand, whether it's with the city of Schenectady or with our own plant, and ensure that these more dense projects and again, industry that comes to Rotterdam, businesses that come to Rotterdam, corporations that want to locate maybe offices at some point. And I don't know whether that's going to be a thing with people working more from home now, or I think those things are going to be reassessed pretty dramatically. But at the same time, if the sewer lines are not there, we're going to limit the future of our community as we have, in my opinion, been limited now for the past 40, 50 years. I strongly believe that a lot more would have happened here in Rotterdam over the last handful of decades if we had been more forward thinking in the 70s and got the sewer lines in when the federal government and the state government were looking to provide the funding.
So this project, this is going to give us another 500,000 gallon capacity. It's going from 1.5 to 2. Then I'm guessing that's million gallons.
Yeah, those. Yeah.
At MGD.
Right.
So we're maxed out after this. The plant can't handle anymore. So can that plant transfer to the city at all, or no?
So we're entering into a lot of detail here in a way, but
I'm just thinking. So what is the dollar amount? This documentation that was just posted, is this telling us how much this project is?
I still don't have the link. I still don't have the link.
I
Yeah.
have it up on the screen because when I download it from Chasen's site, there's
great.
some error that it's giving me. So I'm going to have to get it from them again in the morning, I believe.
Okay.
So this
So-
project manual is not going to tell you the amount because it's a call for bids.
Right. So this is for the High Bridge area, right? But what Joe was talking about, the sewer, he was talking about sewer 2.
The upgrade to the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, you were talking, right, but you were talking about sewer 2.
Okay.
Joe, from what I
can
know,
find that also.
Here or what? Did I
but
confuse
from
you?
what I know, eventually that whole sewer plant, in theory, could be turned into a transfer station and load into the city.
Into the city.
Yeah.
The only again, the problem with that is, as I've said in the past, is that then the future boards can't determine their own the destiny of the town. So at this point we're going to keep moving to expand in the western side of town when appropriate, but we are going to be looking at that this year and next year. As far as this goes, this one is so did you put that back up? Can you put that back up there, Dana? So I was still waiting in my email here for that, so I apologize. I didn't know you put it on the I didn't have both windows open.
So this is for a call for bid.
Right. Let's put it this way.
Sorry.
Anything
Yeah,
that
we don't have any idea what kind of, okay.
anything that we, but more importantly, anything that we do, they have I'm sure that they have an idea. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure, right. There's some kind of rough idea.
They have an idea what it's going to cost. But the other
Right,
part
is
of
it
this,
$1 million, $500,000, $2 million?
the other part of this is the other, we'll know when we get the bids in. But the other part of this, you're going to look at a substantial amount of money here, but the other part of this for this area also, again, looking at all of the large parcels that still remain in that part of town, there's going to be potential there for more projects that might hook into our.
Right. So I'm thinking, right, what's the half?
Or from the High Bridge side. So either one, they're related,
Right. If, like I said, I'm looking at this thinking, if we're only increasing our capacity by $500,000 and it's going to cost all this money and we could transfer to the city. But all right, so this is just a call for praise or bids.
Which is the next resolution, 171.
Okay. Thank you.
If you're on 170, I think that's to declare lead agency or.
Yeah, to declare, right, yes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No, I know. I was just kind of, all right.
So we have a motion by Mr. Christou, a second by Mr. Signor. Anyone else on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou,
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera absent, Mr. Signor,
Yes.
Mr. Thomasone.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 absent.
Okay, resolution 170-20 passes. Resolution 171-20.
Call for bids to be electronically opened on Thursday, July 16th, 2020 at 2 p.m. and an official report to be subsequently posted to the Empire State Purchasing Group on BidNet at http://www.bidnetdirect.com/Town of Rotterdam by the close of business the same day for High Bridge Pump Stations improvements.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question for 171-20? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou,
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli, Mr. Gitterelli,
He's muted. Joe, you're muted. He's nodding his head yet.
well, you got to
You
unmute,
can't, yeah.
unmute.
I know, have too many screens open and that one shrunk when she put the, yes.
I know, you
said
got to get
yes.
rid of that project manual thing because mine did the same thing. So, Mr. Gitterelli, did you say yes?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Mrs. Miller Herrera is absent. Mr. Signor
Yes.
and Mr. Thomasone.
Yes.
Okay, 4 yes, 1 absent.
Okay, resolution 171-20 passes. Resolution 172-20.
The Town Board of the Town of Rotterdam hereby authorizes and directs the comptroller to appropriate unrestricted fund balance to cover the costs in relation to the Town of Rotterdam Senior Center architectural repairs in an amount not to exceed $126,472.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by Mr. Signor. Is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, a second by Mr. Christou. Okay, anyone on the question? So this is, these when we do these resolutions, it's not just to move money around. It's also, we're making sure that we're getting all the, hopefully some of the future stuff covered as well, because we have a lot of money that we're going to be waiting on. So just to be clear, so this is coming from our unrestricted fund balance. Well, we have money that is due to us from the insurance company. We have money that's due to us from DASNY, from the grant that Senator Amador helped us receive. Those monies don't come in right away, but we'll get them. So a lot of these expenses will be covered, not all of it, obviously, for the work that's being done over there. And there's hopefully tomorrow or Friday, I'll be able to send you the picture of the concrete truck there pouring the floor, because I'm told they're coming at the end of this week. So in the auditorium. So things are starting to close up. They're going through the punch list over there and getting some of the details completed. And it's looking good. So anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll?
Mr. Christou,
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera absent. Mr. Signor,
Yes.
Mr. Thomasone.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 absent.
Okay. Resolution 172-20 passes. Resolution 173-20.
Accept the town clerk's report for the month of May 2020.
Can I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Mr. Christou, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Okay, anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou,
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera is absent. Mr. Signor,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomasone.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 absent.
Okay, resolution 173-20 passes. Resolution 174-20.
Adopt the meeting minutes from the May 27th, 2020 Town Board meeting.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Signaler. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll again?
Mr. Christou? Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Gittarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera absent. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasone.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 absent.
Okay, resolution 17420 passes. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to discuss under committee reports or miscellaneous this evening?
So Steve, I have something. I'm just going to see if Diane needs to mute her.
Yeah, she should, yeah.
What do I-
Because otherwise you're going to sound like you're in the Death Stars.
You muted? What about you, Steve?
Go ahead.
Okay, we're still getting an echo here, but anyway. Better now? Okay. As you know, I'm one of the members of the 2020 committee, which we had planned, we're in the process of making plans as part of our 200th celebration, our bicentennial celebration, when the COVID virus hit. So everything's been kind of put on a standstill. But there are some things and events that people are still able to participate in, and one of which is the ability to be able to hike. And included in that is hiking Rotterdam's 1820 to 2020 long path. And just to let you know, James Schaefer, who is now the head of our committee, has been the one who's been spearheading this hike or this trail, and more specifically, is designed or is creating a competition that will enable people to not only hike the trail, which is from end to end is about 5 miles. I'm going to get into more details about the history of the trail in a minute, but he's also has designed a patch. I don't know if I'm going to hold it up to the best it's able to be seen on my screen here. Those people, this is what the patch will look like once we get it all out and disseminated. For those people who actually complete the trail. So I'm going to read you a little bit about the history of this trail and what the competition and the event looks like. So just to let you know, the Long Path Trail was created in 1929 by the late Vincent J. Schaefer. It had followed in the tradition of the Appalachian Trail, which is from Georgia to Maine, and the Long Trail of Vermont, both trails that popularized end-to-end through hiking. So because, as I had already mentioned, the COVID-19 virus has made hiking popular, this is a good opportunity for people to participate in this in Rotterdam. The Long Path was designed to feature the highlands of eastern New York State, starting near the George Washington Bridge, hiking the Palisades, the Schwankunks, Catskills, Helderbergs, the Rotterdam and Glenville Hills to the Adirondacks, ending atop Whiteface Mountain near Lake Placid. It's that trail is a 350-mile trail, road walk and bushwhack. The Long Path corridor in Rotterdam is approximately 6 miles long, navigating 450 vertical feet south from Rhinex Corners through the Platterkill Preserve to the Kiwanis Park and the Mohawk River. And hikers may start or end at either the upper kiosk or lower kiosk. Now, what I want you to know is that Jim Schaefer, along with our carpenter, Jamie, designed and painted the what we call the Long Path Blue kiosks. Actually, they were designed by Jamie, and I think it was Dr. Schaefer's daughter, Michaela, who did the painting. And Dr. Schaefer and a friend of his placed the kiosk near the parking lot at Kiwanis Park and 400 yards in from the Platterkill trailhead near the red trail bridges across the Platterkill. So basically, what you'll do is you, to record a success in completing the Rotterdam 1820 to 2020 Long Path End-to-End Hike Award, you must register your date, time, and name at the start and end of their end-to-end adventure. And monitoring of the registration and phone, text, and email verification will take place periodically to compile a list of persons completing the competition. And you can reach Jim Schaefer at 518-488-4273. And his email address is, I'm going to spell it, it's SKAFER JALKAHO42@gmail.com. And awards will be this fall, and this discounted Long Path Sunday is available at the Hungry Chicken Farm stand across from Kiwanis Park. So that's why I'm going to participate in this event. So go ahead, get out there, get going on this, and then I will hopefully be able to update you as more events unfold, if at all possible, for our 2020 bicentennial celebration in the midst of this COVID virus. Thank you.
Steve, I have to apologize to you because the color printer here is not working. So Mr. Gittarelli held up a color version of it because what I gave you was inadequate, and I apologize for that. So hopefully everybody can see the color version. We can't hear you, Steve. You're muted. What did you say? I guess Steve doesn't want to repeat it, apparently.
Oh, I said I'm sure it wasn't the first time you've been inadequate. So.
Okay, so let's move on. To anyone else have anything? So I'd like to show one
Mr.
more.
Supervisor, I think this is a
picture,
great
which
time
I do have only in black and white. So this is what the tank at May Avenue will look like. Can you see see it clearly? Very soon, as soon as all the painting is done, you'll be able to see the name of our town from a couple of distinct spots, really, from High Bridge area pretty clearly, and then obviously on 890 as you're heading towards the western end, from east to west on 890. So,
Mr. Supervisor, I move to adjourn.
wow.
And I'll second.
There's so many more things that are going through my mind right now to say, but we're going to adjourn. We have a motion by Mr. Christou and a second by Mr. Gittarelli to adjourn. I'll just do by voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. And the last thing I would like to just say is we miss Ms. Miller Herrera this evening. When she's here, we talk less. So anyway, thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Be
Bye,
safe,
everyone.